Good evening and welcome to California Today, the California division of the NTD News, covering top news in the Golden State. I'm Lang Zhang. Let's take a look at today's stories. A student started a mask mandate protest at school on Friday after the governor took off his mask at the football championships last week. San Francisco's Tenderloin Linkage Center is receiving criticism for allegedly allowing open-air drug use. A group of mothers gathered in front of the center over the weekend to voice their opposition. Governor Gavin Newsom announced today that the statewide indoor mask mandate is set to expire next week on February 15th. Newsom added that unvaccinated people will still be required to mask up indoors. Masks will still be required in high-risk areas like public transit, nursing homes, and hospitals. Local governments can continue their own indoor masking requirements if they choose to. State health officials cited a 65% decrease since the winter surge in CCP virus cases, also known as COVID-19, throughout the state. However, indoor mega events with more than 1,000 people will require proof of vaccinations or negative test results. People who are unvaccinated will be required to wear masks. For outdoor mega events with over 10,000 people, vaccinations are not required, but masks or negative test results are recommended. In Sacramento, students are protesting against the mask mandate on Fridays, calling them Freedom Friday. The protests have started after the governor and other state officials were spotted maskless at the football championships last week. NTD's Eileen Ang hears more from the students who started it.
Last Friday, students in Sacramento County protested against wearing masks in school by showing up to class without one.
Right now, me and my classmates are being forced to do our AP Lang project outside of our classroom. This is us doing it outside because they won't let us in the class, and they are telling us to go to the office and sending us home.
Kenzie Haig, a junior at Bella Vista High School, started the protest after feeling stressed and anxious. Her grades were slipping too. She and her parents concluded that masks were the reason for feeling disconnected.
When I started going, vocal about not wanting to wear a mask anymore, I started to then lose friends and receive backlash from some of my teachers who disagreed with me.
What are those teachers telling you?
Some of them are just kind of calling it ridiculous. Others aren't giving me tests, or will schedule the tests on Friday when they know I'm doing Freedom Friday, so that way I won't be able to make them up.
Haig took to social media asking fellow students to join her and found out she was not alone.
As I've gone through this, I want high school kids to know that they have a voice and that they can be heard, but they have to actually open their mouth and show that they want to be heard.
She said there are teachers who are respectful when they choose not to wear a mask, but some are asked to step outside or go to the office. Down the street, a handful of students at Andrew Carnegie Middle School were told to sit on a street curb after they were sent to the principal's office for refusing to wear a mask. Haig said they were outside for 4 hours.
There were no one from the school was keeping an eye on them. There was some of the kids' parents were there making sure everything was okay, but no one from the school was outside with the kids. And so then they brought them inside into the school library, where more and more kids eventually joined, and there was a group of, I think, 20 kids in the library.
She has support from Let Them Breathe, an organization that supports students who no longer want to wear masks. They have sent demand letters to several schools saying they can't violate students' rights to an in-person education.
Most schools are kind of passing the buck to the state, but our lawsuit against the state mask mandate, it verified that there is no language in the state guidance that says that schools have to exclude students.
McKeeman said they have been sharing Kinsey's and other students' stories on their social media and have been getting support from outside the state. A spokesperson with the San Juan Unified School District informed NTD that they feel the students' frustration and desire to return to normal, but cited that both the state and county health departments require face coverings in school. The students intend to protest every Friday until the mask mandates are lifted. Eileen Ang, NTD News, California.
A state assemblywoman introduced a new bill to give school districts access to students' vaccination records for the CCP virus, also known as COVID-19. The new bill comes as Omicron cases are decreasing throughout the state.
Assemblywoman Akilah Weber, representing San Diego, along with school district leaders, announced a jab-related bill on February 4th. The bill will give school districts access to students' vaccination status against the CCP virus, also known as COVID-19. Weber's bill came as San Diego Unified School District is appealing a lawsuit against its vaccine mandate. Parent advocacy group Let Them Choose filed a lawsuit against the district in October. They said that only the state has the power to add vaccine requirements for on-campus learning. The group additionally pointed out that the district doesn't allow for personal belief exemptions as required by state law. San Diego Superior Court Judge John Mayer tentatively ruled in the group's favor in December. The school district appealed the decision the very next day for the case to be reviewed by an appellate court. Sharon McKeeman of Let Them Choose told CBS 8 that the bill is just a kind of another example of the state really getting ahead of themselves and being too sure of themselves and overreaching. The bill is supported by Sacramento Senator Richard Pan, who recently introduced the Keep Schools Open and Safe Act. His bill makes COVID-19 vaccination mandatory for students to attend K-12 schools in person. Both bills come as Omicron cases are declining throughout the state. In February, Los Angeles' average COVID cases dropped to nearly 3,000 for the first time in the past few weeks. However, agencies are reporting a steady level of COVID-related deaths in the dozens per day. Once LA's hospitalizations drop below 2,500 for 7 days, mask requirements will relax for all outdoor activities. At the same time, some Angelinians are pushing for repealing COVID jab requirements for indoor spaces. The petition needs approximately 65,000 signatures, 15% of registered Los Angeles voters, to become effective.
In January, San Francisco opened a new Linkage Center. The facility is meant to offer services to people struggling with drug addictions. But a group of mothers are worried that the center may be fueling the city's drug crisis. NTD Cynthia Kai spoke to the center.
A group of mothers have gathered in front of the Linkage Center in San Francisco on Saturday morning. They're expressing their opposition to the supposed open-air drug use that's occurring in the center. The Tenderloin Linkage Center opened on January 18th as part of Mayor London Breed's December State of Emergency declaration for the Tenderloin drug crisis. But the group Mothers Against Drug Deaths criticized the center for allowing open drug use in the facility, especially since it is meant to be a 24-hour, one-stop shop for people seeking assistance and help to stop their addictions.
To me, it feels like going to an AA meeting in a bar, you know what I mean? Or handing a loaded gun to a person with suicidal ideations. It's very disheartening that the mayor has not kept up her promise to get rid of the BS.
Currently, the city's Department of Emergency Management runs the center. They deny any drug use taking place in the center. However, about a week after the center's opening, the San Francisco Chronicle reported eyewitness accounts of open-air drug deals. Similarly, photos published by the Daily Mail around the same time captured people smoking, giving themselves injections, and partaking in what looks like drug deals.
I believe that you can have a linkage center without consumption inside or sales inside, which is utterly ridiculous in my head. I can't fathom that.
The mothers repeatedly expressed their support for harm reduction and the Linkage Center, but were against the idea of drug use inside.
It is extremely hard to walk through a linkage center if you're planning on going to the table for help, and especially if you want recovery, and pass drug deals going on and open drug use.
Among the Saturday morning crowd was also a group of advocates for the Linkage Center, acting as a counter-protest. The group says the Linkage Center provides necessary services to people grappling with drug addiction, which the mothers agree with.
Take the safe consumption site out of the Linkage Center, and it's a wonderful service.
All demonstrations remained peaceful. The mothers say they just want to raise awareness and share their stories about the impacts of drug abuse. In 2020 and 2022, San Francisco reported over 1,300 drug overdoses, with fentanyl causing about 75% of the deaths. That's nearly double the 692 reported COVID-19 deaths in the same time frame.
We are simply moms.
Cynthia Kai, NTD News, San Francisco.
And coming up, the city of Berkeley is requiring businesses to check for vaccinations, and business owners to tell NTD how they kept their businesses alive. That and more here on NTD News. In Marin County, 2 people were rescued from water today at Muir Beach, with another person still missing, according to the National Park Service. The NPS stated in a tweet around 2 p.m. that a search is in progress. Multiple agencies are involved, including the NPS, the Marin, Southern Marin, and Muir Beach Fire Departments, as well as the U.S. Coast Guard. About 20 minutes later, the Marin County Sheriff tweeted a video of the people being airlifted to shore via helicopter shortly after. The search for the missing men is ongoing. The 3 men are fishermen who hiked to water from the Muir Beach overlook. Fentanyl overdoses are becoming one of the leading causes of drug-related deaths in California. The emergence of counterfeit pills made from fentanyl is believed by some to be the driving force behind the uptick in deaths. NTD's Cynthia Kai hears more from a Southern California family who has suffered the impacts of fake pills.
Ed and Mary Ternan lost their son, Charlie Ternan, to a fake prescription pill almost 2 years ago. Now, they're hoping to educate others on the dangers of fentanyl pills. In 2020, fentanyl was responsible for nearly half of drug-caused deaths in California.
We coined the term Fentapill to really break out this problem separately, to distinguish it from, you've got the drug problem up here, you've got the opioid crisis, you've got the fentanyl epidemic, and then down here, this subset is what we call Fentapills.
He says the Fentapills are very realistic-looking counterfeit pills.
These young people are being sold what they think are safe, familiar prescription medications that they've used before, that they've gotten from their doctors, that they've seen in their parents' medicine cabinets.
According to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, or DEA, 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. The DEA found that counterfeit pills can contain anywhere between 0.2 to 5.1 milligrams, over twice a lethal dose, of fentanyl per tablet. According to the Brookings Institution, over the past decade, China has played a key role in flooding the United States with fentanyl.
And it's just so deceiving and evil. I mean, he didn't intend to die, he thought he was just relieving his pain in his back.
She says there is a difference between overdosing and fentapill poisoning. Ed says it's impossible to visually tell the difference between fake and real prescription pills. He says there are fentanyl test strips, but those only work if a pill is dissolved in water. Ed and Mary believe the demand driving drug traffickers and the production of fentapills is the pill-popping culture.
We have created in this society a kind of a quick-fix pill-popping culture. There's a pill for everything. And it's glorified in music and movies and Netflix series, and it's very common.
But now they hope to change this pill-popping culture.
Our starting point for young people is, if it didn't come from your doctor, you have to assume it's counterfeit. It's a fentapill, and it's made of fentanyl.
They hope the idea that random pills being dangerous can become common sense.
And we want no random pills to be just as automatic as look both ways. That kids just understand that if somebody pulls out a baggie of pills at a party, everybody goes, whoa, no, uncool. Those are really dangerous. That's the cultural mindset that we're trying to create.
Since launching their organization, Ed and Mary say a number of people have contacted them with positive feedback. Many told Ed and Mary that they now know about these pills and are warning their friends. Cynthia Kai, NTD News, California.
A state senator is calling for Governor Gavin Newsom to terminate California's state of emergency after he was photographed maskless at an NFC championship game. She cited the upcoming Super Bowl and the declining cases as evidence that there is no longer an emergency.
Senator Melissa Melendez, representing Lake Elsinore, called for an immediate end to the state of emergency ahead of Super Bowl 56. She cited the large number of people preparing to fill the stands of Southern California's SoFi Stadium on February 13th. Melendez said, If we can have a major NFL game in California with 80,000 people in the stands and be fine, I don't see where the emergency is. The Southern California senator was quick to scrutinize Governor Gavin Newsom for posing maskless in a photo with NBA star Magic Johnson. She also criticized LA Mayor Eric Garcetti and San Francisco Mayor London Breed for similar photos. Melendez said, "There's no state of emergency, the numbers are declining, and the vast majority of Californians are vaccinated anyway, many of whom are also boosted." She added, "We are continuing with this charade that we are playing." Newsom defended his bare face after photos of him were criticized by other state leaders and residents. He said, "In my hands the mask, the rest of the time I wore it as we all should." But the governor was also photographed sitting in the stands at the game with his mask hanging from his ear. Garcetti also defended himself at a February 2nd press conference, insisting he was holding his breath when the photo was snapped. Since the state of emergency was announced in March 2020, Melendez has attempted multiple times to propose legislation, including this week allowing a vote to terminate the proclamation. But all of them have stalled. She said she will persist and asked like-minded Californians to demand a return to normalcy.
Today's the first day effective where Berkeley is mandating new requirements for certain businesses. Businesses must require employees to be boosted. They must also require customers ages of 5 and up to be vaccinated. NTD's David Lamb speaks to several business owners to see how they have kept up.
Berkeley is mandating that businesses such as restaurants, gyms, indoor events of 500 or more people, and care facilities check its customers for proof of vaccinations. Pickup or delivery service is exempted. There's no doubt that the past 2 years has been a struggle during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially for businesses where so many had to close shops. But some have managed to find ways to stay afloat. This niche cafe was struck hard during the pandemic, but she arranged part of her store into a retail space.
We set up some shelves and made it into like a little neighborhood store where people could come and pick up takeout and pick up a few gifts or, food items if they want to.
Chen said they were able to get 2 rounds of PPE funding, which helped financially, but she had to find many ways to build revenue elsewhere, such as an online platform.
A lot of our products that we make here are in a lot of subscription gift boxes that became very popular over during the pandemic.
They've also been utilizing DoorDash and Grubhub. Another business owner says she's been a hairdresser for 25 years, but she had to close her salon for almost 8 months. She changed her process from primarily walk-ins to mainly reservations.
I try to do appointment only so people don't have to wait.
She used to have 1 or 2 other employees, but now is the only one working due to slow business. Renato said it was difficult to cut hair depending on the masks that customers wear, but she adapted.
Yeah, that's something that I had to learn quickly, and the ones that they go around are easier for me than sometimes they bring ones that they go wrap it around the head. Those are harder. But I usually keep a lot of masks, extra masks.
She's a nice person. She gives me a good haircut. They're reasonably priced. It's near where I live, so it's very convenient. We want to support our small businesses. Otherwise, there'll be nothing left but Costco.
Edgar says he's been a customer with Daisy since 1994. He keeps coming back for the hairdo and to support the local economy. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, taking you through the California Today Sports Roundup. American figure skater Vincent Zhu has tested positive for COVID-19 in athletes' daily screening at the Beijing Olympics, U.S. figure skating said on Monday. It said in an emailed statement, as part of yesterday's regular COVID-19 screening, Vincent Zhu tested positive, adding he was undergoing additional testing and will be able to compete in the men's short program on Tuesday if he tests negative. California native Zhu, who is 21 years old, competed in the team event on Sunday, and teammate Karen Chen said she found out about his positive test result after performing her free skate on Monday. The United States won silver in the team event. Chen added she was taking precautions to combat the possibility of contracting COVID in the Olympic Village, with dozens of athletes having tested positive on arrival in Beijing since January 23rd. Zhu finished 6th at the 2018 Pyeongchang Games and beat triple world champion Nathan Chen for the gold medal at the Skate America Grand Prix. Giannis Antetokounmpo finished with 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Jrue Holiday added 27 with 13 assists as visiting Milwaukee used a third-quarter burst to enter victory over the new-look Los Angeles. Bobby Portis added 24 points with 11 rebounds as the Bucks won their second straight game to open a 4-stop Western Conference road trip. An NBA Finals rematch against the Phoenix Suns looms on Thursday. Norman Powell scored 28 points in his Clippers debut, and Marcus Morris Sr. added 20, as Los Angeles lost for the third time in his last 5 games. Robert Covington, who was also making his Clippers debut, added 13 points. Powell and Covington were acquired in a trade Friday from the Portland Trail Blazers. Bucks 137, Clippers 113. Harold Varner made a stunning eagle on the final hole to hold off an inspired Bubba Watson and claim a one-stroke victory at the Saudi International on Sunday. In an extraordinary finale, Varner needed a birdie on the par 5 at 18th to force a playoff against twice Masters winner Watson, who had finished his sparkling round of 664 with a fine eagle. Instead, the 31-year-old American snatched an outright victory as he sank an eagle putt from around 100 feet out for his second career title in a dramatic scene at the Royal Greens Golf and Country Club near Jeddah. Varner carded a 1 under 69 to finish at 13 under for the tournament, 1 ahead of Watson and 3 shots clear of Spaniard Adrian Arnaus, who started the final day 1 stroke back. Watson was in imperious form as he made 5 birdies on the front 9 and looked set to leapfrog Varner before a double bogey on the 11th halted his charge. Varner, though, could not take advantage as he dropped 2 shots on the 14th, setting up a tense finish. Defending champion Dustin Johnson shot an even par 70 to finish tied for 8th, alongside Briton Tommy Fleetwood, who endured a difficult day with 3 over 73. As always, I'm Thomas Christian, and thanks for tuning in.
And that's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, feel free to let us know. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.